Hi, I'm Lisa, Director of Developer Education at Sourcegraph, and I'm going to walk you through installing an instance of Sourcegraph on a Linux Ubuntu 20.04 cloud server. We'll be using a DigitalOcean droplet with the recommended 4 gigabytes of RAM and 2 CPUs for this demo. Sourcegraph is a tool that can allow you to search all of the code that is important to you. You can try out Sourcegraph Cloud on the web to search through open source repositories right now. In this video, we'll discuss an installation instead. If you would like to use Sourcegraph to access local code, server-side code, or code from several different code hosts, an instance like this may be the right fit for you. Installing Sourcegraph with Docker is appropriate for testing and is fairly quick to set up. If you would like to use Sourcegraph in a production environment, you should follow our documentation on installing Sourcegraph with Docker Compose on a single node or on a Kubernetes cluster. Let's get started. I set up this DigitalOcean droplet with a non-root sudo user, Sammy. First, I want to make sure that everything is up to date with sudo apt update. Enter the password. Awesome. So now we know that everything's up to date. So in order to install Docker, I want to use the Snap Package Manager. So let's first make sure that that's installed with sudo apt install snapd. With that installed and set up, I want to make sure that I have the core libraries I need. So I'll run sudo snap install core. Now that Snap is installed, we can install Docker using Snap. That command is sudo snap install docker. Awesome. So now we have Docker installed and we can move on to installing Sourcegraph with Docker. So we have a multi-line Docker command that we need to run. And we'll demonstrate how to do that here. So we'll use the sudo command and it's going to take a little bit. Basically, this command is telling your server to install and run Sourcegraph. It's calling up the relevant files from the Docker image of Sourcegraph. Since this is a cloud server, we could keep our instance of Sourcegraph up and running even after closing our terminal connection to the servers. So that was one of the details we passed into this command. It is also setting up a store for your Sourcegraph data. So with our installation complete, we can navigate to our web browser of choice and IP address of my server, port 80. I press enter and I get the feedback that my installation is complete. I have validated that I've installed Sourcegraph with Docker on my Ubuntu server. At this point, create your account. So now we've verified that everything's working. For next steps, head on over to Sourcegraph Learn right here, or go ahead to read through our documentation to learn more about Sourcegraph, the different installation methods, and how you can effectively search all of your code. Happy coding and happy searching.